I want you to picture a scenario. It's, say, Tuesday morning, 7 a.m., the alarm goes off. You're awake,
Yeah.
Technically. But the brain isn't really online yet. So what is the very first physical action you take?
Oh, I think I know where this is going. You reach for the nightstand.
You grab the phone, one eye open, squinting at the brightness. You check email, maybe see what's trending, maybe scroll through Instagram.
And you tell yourself, I'm just waking up, just checking in on the world.
Just for 5 minutes. But then 10 minutes pass, then 20.
And by the time your feet actually hit the floor, you've probably processed more data, more tragedy, more entertainment than a medieval peasant did in a lifetime.
Exactly. But here's the kicker. You finally drag yourself out of bed, you make the coffee, you sit down to do the actual work, the report, the code, the creative project.
Yeah.
And
a total wall.
it feels impossible. Your brain feels like a wet sponge. It's heavy. It's sluggish.
Yeah.
And, we usually blame this on a lack of sleep or maybe not enough caffeine.
But the research we're looking at today suggests we are diagnosing it completely wrong. It's not a fatigue problem. It's a biological hijacking.
We are sabotaging our own brain chemistry before the day even properly starts.
We really are.
We are doing a deep dive into Dopamine Detox, a short guide to remove distractions and get your brain to do hard things, by Thibaut Meurisse. And I really want to set the stakes here. This isn't just about productivity hacks.
No, not at all. This is about the fundamental chemistry of how we experience reality. Meurisse's central argument is that we aren't suffering from a lack of willpower.
Right, that we're not just lazy.
Exactly. We're suffering from overstimulation. We have chemically conditioned our brains to reject hard work.
So the mission today is to figure out how to reverse that conditioning. How do we reset the brain's wavelength so that those difficult, boring tasks actually feel easy?
Or at least possible. And to understand the fix, we have to understand the mechanism. We have to talk about the star of the show, dopamine.
Okay, and I feel like this word gets thrown around a lot in pop psychology. I need my dopamine hit.
Yeah.
We usually equate it with pleasure, right? I eat a donut, I get dopamine, I'm happy.
That is the biggest misconception, and it's probably why so many of us are stuck in these loops. Dopamine is not the pleasure molecule.
It's not.
Not directly. If you eat a donut, the pleasure you feel, the actual yumminess, that's largely the opioid system in the brain. That's what we call liking.
Okay, so if dopamine isn't the liking, what is it?
It's the wanting. It is the neurotransmitter of anticipation. Evolutionarily, its job wasn't to make you happy. Its job was to get you off the couch to go hunt the mammoth or find the berry bush.
So it's the motivation.
It's the fuel of pursuit, the molecule of more.
Yeah.
It promises that if you just do this one thing, eat the berry, check the notification, swipe the screen, you will feel good. But dopamine itself doesn't care if you actually enjoy the result.
It only cares that you seek it.
Exactly.
This explains that really specific, hollow feeling of scrolling for an hour. You're constantly swiping because dopamine is saying, the next one will be good, the next one. But you rarely feel satisfied.
You just feel emptied out. That's the prediction error loop.
Yeah.
Your brain anticipates a reward. If the video is boring, dopamine drops, and you feel this urge to fix it by swiping again.
And if it's funny?
You get a spike, but it fades almost instantly, so you swipe again to get it back. You're just ratcheting up your neural activity without ever really reaching a destination.
And Meurisse argues that modern society, and especially the tech industry, has just weaponized this.
It's an industrial-scale hijack. App developers, news networks, food scientists, they optimize for craveability. They engineer triggers that fire that anticipation circuit over and over and over.
You know that if they can trigger the wanting, the liking doesn't even matter.
It's irrelevant, and this constant firing leads to what Meurisse calls the tolerance effect. This part was a bit scary to read because it uses the exact same language as drug addiction.
That's the same mechanism.
It's nearly identical. If you constantly flood your brain with cheap dopamine high-sugar foods, constant notifications, your brain tries to protect itself. It seeks balance.
Homeostasis.
Right, so it downregulates the dopamine receptors. It literally creates fewer places for the chemical to land.
So you become numb.
You become desensitized. The things that used to be fun aren't fun anymore. You need more stimulation just to feel normal. And more importantly, the things that are low stimulation, like reading a book or writing a report.
They feel like actual pain.
They register as practically painful. They don't generate enough of a signal to even wake your brain up.
This leads us to one of the most useful metaphors in the book, stimulation wavelengths. I found this really helpful for visualizing why I can't focus.
It's a great visual. Imagine your brain activity on a spectrum. On the high end, you have high stimulation activities, fast-paced gaming, social media feeds, action movies.
Rapid, intense, effortless.
Exactly. And on the low end,
Low stimulation. Writing, planning a project, learning something complex. The slow stuff.
the boring stuff.
The important stuff.
The stuff that actually moves your life forward, yeah. The problem Meurisse identifies is a gap between them. There's no overlap.
We think we can spend 30 minutes on Instagram writing that high wavelength.
And then just instantly switch to writing a complex document.
But you can't.
No. The drop is just too steep. Your brain is calibrated for 100 miles per hour. When you force it to go 5 miles per hour, it panics. It screams that something is wrong.
That feeling, that panic, that's what we call procrastination.
That's the hamster wheel. You sit down to work. It feels too slow and boring compared to the Twitter thread you just read, so you feel resistance.
Yeah.
And to soothe that resistance,
You grab your phone for a quick check.
which spikes the dopamine again.
Oh, and it raises your tolerance even higher. So now the work looks even more boring.
Exactly. You are running faster and faster toward distraction, thinking it will help you focus, but you're actually making focus biologically impossible.
And it's not just a feeling. The brain actually starts to lie to you to protect that high stimulation state. Meurisse outlines these 4 mind tricks, and I have to say, reading them, I felt personally attacked.
We all fall for them. It's the brain defending its addiction. It wants to stay in that comfortable high stim zone.
Okay, let's break them down. Trick number 1. Returning to work is easy.
This is the just 1 minute lie. Your brain convinces you that you can check the score of the game or reply to one text and then just snap right back into a deep work state.
But you can't.
Science shows that attention residue lingers. Once you switch contexts, it can take 20 minutes or more to regain that same depth of focus.
So every quick check is actually a 20-minute penalty. Okay, trick number 2. You can do it later.
The classic procrastination lie. This relies on us overestimating our future selves. We always assume future me will be disciplined, rested, and motivated.
But future me is going to be just as overstimulated as present me.
Unless you change your baseline, yes, nothing will have changed.
Trick number 3, I found the most profound. Excitement is fulfillment.
This is such a crucial distinction. We confuse the physiological buzz of high stimulation, that jittery, excited feeling of a new notification, with actual happiness or satisfaction.
But they're opposites.
They really are. Excitement is usually about consuming. Fulfillment is usually about creating.
Excitement is the roller coaster. Fulfillment is building the roller coaster.
That's a great way to put it. The brain tries to sell you the cheap buzz of the ride because it's easy. It hides the fact that deep satisfaction comes from the slow, difficult work of building.
And finally, trick number 4, FOMO, the fear of missing out,
The scarcity mindset. If I don't check the news now, I might miss something vital.
which Meurisse is very blunt about. He says, chances are you won't.
You won't. And even if you do, your life isn't going to collapse. He basically argues that the cost of being constantly informed is your ability to create your own future. You're always reacting.
You're a passenger.
Yeah, a passenger in your own life.
Okay, so we've established the problem. We're overstimulated, our receptors are fried, our brains are lying to us. The solution is the dopamine detox.
Right, and Meurisse clarifies this right away. We aren't medically removing dopamine from our bodies. That would be very bad.
You'd be catatonic.
You would. This is just shorthand for stimulation reduction. The goal is to starve the brain of those cheap, high-intensity inputs long enough for your receptors to recover.
You want to lower your baseline so that normal things become interesting again.
Precisely.
He outlines 3 levels. Let's start with the nuclear option, the 48-hour complete detox.
This is the hard reset. For 2 full days, no phone, no internet, no movies, no music, no rich, sugary food.
No music. That one feels punitive. Why no music?
Because it's an external input that regulates your mood. The whole point is to eliminate all external inputs. You are stripping away the noise.
So what are you left with?
Walking, journaling, meditating, stretching, and drinking water. That's about it.
It sounds like solitary confinement.
Yeah.
But I get the logic. If I stare at a wall for 48 hours, suddenly that Excel spreadsheet I've been avoiding.
It looks like the most exciting thing in the world.
I'm making the work the treat.
That is literally the mechanism. You are creating a state of sensory deprivation where boring work becomes the highest form of stimulation available.
Okay, for those of us who can't just disappear for a weekend, he suggests a 24-hour version or the partial detox.
And the partial detox is really the sustainable lifestyle shift. You just identify your one biggest source of distraction. Maybe it's YouTube, maybe it's scrolling news, and you eliminate just that.
You plug the biggest leak in the ship.
Exactly. For me, I think it's definitely just aimless scrolling. If I cut that out, I'd probably gain back 2 hours a day.
And so much mental clarity. When you stop the constant input, the brain stops feeling like it's under siege.
Right. So let's say we've done the detox or we're trying to implement this. Meurisse then pivots to tactical advice on how to keep the world from invading our brains again. My favorite concept here is the law of friction.
This is brilliant because it accepts human nature.
Okay.
We're fundamentally lazy. We want to conserve energy.
Instead of fighting that laziness with willpower, you use it. You lean into it.
Increase friction for bad habits, decrease it for good ones. He shares this personal story about his internet modem that is just hilarious but so effective.
It's extreme, but it proves the point. To stop himself from browsing the web, he put his internet modem in a storage room, but not just in the next room.
No, it was 4 floors down.
4 floors down. So if he wanted to check a website, he had to leave his apartment, wait for the elevator, go down 4 floors, unlock multiple doors, get the modem, bring it all the way back up.
And his lazy brain just goes, you know what, never mind, not worth it.
Precisely. He made the cost of the distraction higher than the potential reward. You can do this digitally, too. Delete the apps, log out of everything, use a newsfeed eradicator.
And conversely, make the good stuff frictionless. He talks about leaving his word processor open before he goes to bed.
So it's the first thing he sees. Remove the steps between you and the work. If it's the first thing you see, you just start. No friction.
Another big tactical takeaway was the difference between open systems and closed systems. This changed how I look at my computer screen.
It's a vital distinction for focus. An open system is something that never ends. Email is an open system. Messages keep coming. Social media is an open system. The feed is infinite.
They're dangerous.
They're dangerous because they provide continuous, unpredictable stimulation. A closed system has boundaries, a Word document, an Excel sheet, a specific project with a finish line.
Nothing new pops up inside a Word document unless you type it. It's a controlled environment.
So the strategy is, always start the day with a closed system. Never open an open system until your main work is done.
The moment you open email in the morning, you have surrendered your agenda to the world.
You're now reacting to other people's requests instead of building your own work. You've invited the chaos in.
Which ties perfectly into the next section, the morning routine. The book argues that the morning is basically the rudder for the entire day.
It is the critical window. The neurochemistry you establish in the first 30 minutes dictates your trajectory. If you spike your dopamine immediately by grabbing that phone in bed,
You're setting your brain on a highest stimulation wavelength for the whole day.
the whole day becomes a battle to maintain that high. You'll feel restless and bored by normal work instantly.
So the advice is just
Oh.
keep stimulation low. Meurisse suggests a simple routine. Meditate, stretch, maybe write down your goals. It sounds quiet.
Quiet is the point. You want to ease into the day, not launch yourself into it out of a cannon.
He also talks about shifting our chemical fuel source. We've been running on dopamine, which is all about the future, about next. He says we need to tap into the here and now neurotransmitters.
Right. Chemicals like serotonin and oxytocin, these are about contentment, presence, connection. They satisfy us in a way dopamine never can. Dopamine is the chase. Serotonin is the meal.
So how do we get those?
Well, meditation is a big one. Deep social interactions, actually looking at people and listening. But he also mentioned something called contemplative walking.
And that's different from regular walking.
It is. Most of us walk while listening to a podcast, ironically, or worrying about our to-do list.
We're not present.
We're not. Contemplative walking is just noticing the wind, the birds, the texture of the pavement. It grounds you in the now, which lowers that frantic need for stimulation.
It's essentially practicing boredom again, or just practicing being.
He explicitly encourages practicing doing nothing, sitting in a chair, eating in silence without a YouTube video playing. It sounds easy, but you should try it. It's incredibly difficult for the modern brain.
But that difficulty is the tolerance resetting.
That's the feeling of your brain healing itself.
Yeah.
It's funny, we treat boredom like it's a disease, but Meurisse treats it like the cure.
Boredom is the space where creativity happens, where long-term planning happens. If you fill every second with noise, you never hear your own thoughts.
You're outsourcing your internal monologue to a podcast host or a news anchor.
Which brings us to the long game. This isn't just about getting through the workday. It's about what kind of life you're building. the difference between short-term feedback loops and long-term success.
This is where the rubber meets the road. Social media wires us for super fast feedback. You post, you get a like, immediate result.
But real success, building a business, learning a language, that has a very long feedback loop.
A very long one. You might work for years and see zero result. He mentions Amazon didn't make a profit for almost a decade.
No way.
Exactly. Jeff Bezos played the long game. If he had been addicted to the short-term dopamine hit of quarterly profits, Amazon wouldn't exist as it does today.
We have to rewire our brains to tolerate that lack of immediate feedback.
We need patience. And you can't have patience if you're addicted to the instant gratification of a smartphone. It's a sobering thought. We are trading our long-term dreams for a quick hit of digital sugar.
And we're doing it without even noticing most of the time.
That's why awareness is the first step.
So let's bring this home. We've unpacked the science, the traps, the detox. What's the big takeaway for you listening today?
I think the formula Meurisse gives is perfect. Productivity equals focus plus consistency plus impact. You can't have impact if you can't focus.
And you can't focus if you are chemically overstimulated. It's not about finding a better to-do list app. It's about fixing the biological machinery that processes the list.
Precisely. Stop looking for software solutions to hardware problems.
I want to leave everyone with a final provocation, something to think about. We talked about excitement versus fulfillment. When you get to the end of today, ask yourself, did I chase the cheap thrill of the next notification, or did I build the slow, quiet foundation of my long-term goal?
That's the question. Did you choose the buzz or did you choose the brick? You can't build a house out of buzz.
You can't build a house out of buzz. I love that. Okay, here's a challenge for you listening. Tomorrow morning, just one morning, don't touch the phone. Don't check the email. Keep the system closed. Do the most important thing first. Just see how it feels.
It might just change your brain's wavelength. It's worth a try.
Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you on the next one.